weekend too because he hit me up about it earlier. So if he pops into the studio, watch out.
Word. All right. Well, we'll go live first. Give some people some time here. Fitness and sports. Go live, and that should be fine. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Just kind of was that's one thing you learn about me is I usually am completely glued to something because undiagnosed ADHD, and then I'll have some sort of side task. I'm oh, that seems like fun.
Yeah.
30 minutes, right? Then all of a sudden, 7 years later, and here we are.
Yeah, you haven't touched grass in 10 months.
No, that's what I'm saying. And I look at it and I'm I've just been grinding my ass off for the past 3 to 4 months of just grinding data, and now I'm just not mentally done, but I'm also kind of all right, there's only so much more I can do. Here's Grant.
Yeah, I feel you.
Fantasy basketball, as soon as they said, all right, you need to start working on that, I'm sick.
Yeah.
But as you've heard me in the multiple meetings that I've had with you and so on, I just asked the same question, the same one 12 different times, but 40 different ways.
Yeah.
Thinking that's going to somehow help me, but it just doesn't really do that.
How's my audio?
Audio's decent, Grant.
Some people were getting active in the fantasy basketball chat yesterday, starting to ask questions like they ask in the football chat, which is kind of a good thing to see.
That's lit. I'd start Jonathan Taylor over Chuba Hubbard, and if you want your team rated, you join the Discord. The link to that is in the bio, and then you DM our guy Jackson here at Jamario Moon. Just letting you guys know, this will be a little bit more of a quicker stream, so probably not going to get to a full 30 teams. But
Chuba's kind of a dog.
Chuba is kind of a dog, but when you're supposed to lose by 14 points, I don't want you. But we'll see how it goes. I prefer to have Amari Cooper over to Gabe Davis in the long run, just because if Deshaun Watson comes back into form, then Gabe Davis, Amari should be better. At least that's the theory. Let's see here. Puka, Kyron, Addison. I lean towards Puka for the most level of upside. But we'll start getting into these teams here. I might be a little zoomed in on this one. Oh well. We got Lamar Jackson, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Swift, Garrett Wilson, Michael Pittman, Darren Waller, DJ Moore. And who's on your bench here? Jacoby Myers and DK Metcalf are the notable ones. And KJ. I'd put in KJ over Garrett Wilson right now, or Jacoby Myers, one of the two. Either one's fine, in my personal opinion, over Garrett Wilson. I just don't really think Garrett Wilson's going to get it done for you this weekend. But the running back room, I think, is more than fine here. You got James Conner on IR. This is a strong team. You could even do some 2-for-1s to really upgrade your flex spot into an even better tier. Just because DJ Moore is a fine receiver at this point, along with DK Metcalf. But this is a solid team.
Yeah, and I like that this team doesn't I don't see any pieces on their bench that I would really say they ship away for other bench pieces. I like where they're kind of at with their depth too.
Yeah. Overall, solid team. Nothing really too crazy to say. I am happy to hear that the basketball thread is actually starting to get going a little bit, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, we got to start becoming, so to speak, experts so we can give accurate feedback to people.
And that's my issue. There's no real place that I can even go to as a baseline and be oh, this is a good spot to really get some knowledge going. Just
yeah. Well, what would you say about a Valanciunas, Claxton, and Trey Murphy trade for Spencer Dinwiddie, Trey Jones, and John Collins?
See, I don't even know how to respond to that.
Exactly.
Honestly, the first half kind of sounded better to me just off the rip.
Oh, for sure.
As soon as I heard whoever the last player was, my brain was kind of I don't think he's as good, right? But fantasy basketball is a whole different thing. And then I think the biggest hurdle for fantasy basketball is the fact that there's genuinely two different types of leagues, and you have to I imagine the answer for that trade question is drastically differently in a category league than it is a points league. But
it's tough though. I feel like most people if they're coming to you for advice on fantasy, it's probably a points league. I feel like categories is when you get deeper into the strat,
That's what I like to think and what I'm hoping, because I don't want somebody to go, well, do you think Mark Williams is going to get more blocks tonight or Jacob Holtel? Which one do you want to choose?
Do people do categories for football? I feel like it'd be very doable.
I think it'd be doable, but I just don't think I think there's already enough positional diversity Whereas
Yeah.
fantasy basketball was like, okay, these people go burr, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't know. Basketball's just such a weird game. I was annoying Jackson about it earlier today because I was just like, what do the numbers mean? How do they correlate? Who is your secret big man? Like all this stuff. Which is, yeah. Do you have to pay to get your team reviewed? No, I'm assuming that Z's as your name. You joined the Discord. The link to that is in the bio, and you DM our guy Jackson here at Jamario Moon. But we're going to move on to the next team before I go on another fantasy basketball rant here. We got Stroud, McCaffrey, Mostert, AJ Brown, Amon St. Brown, TJ Hawkinson, with KJ and Ayuk sitting in your flexes. This is the perfect time to sell high on Mostert, in my opinion. Like, I don't think it gets much better than this. In which case, you can really upgrade your roster even further because I think Zay is a really good start this weekend, along with Aaron Jones once he's healthy. Like, this is a very strong team. I do not mind selling high on Raheem Mostert and getting an even better back.
I totally agree with you because it's like all out of nowhere. Like when A-Chain started going off, it was like boom, all of a sudden Mostert is hard to get off of your team now. And now that he's injured, it's like the perfect time to get him
Well,
off.
everyone's like, who else is there? It's just Mostert, right? And then like you're hearing the ebbs of like whatchamacallit, just some small little things going towards Jeff Wilson. Like there's not a lot of overall hype.
Yeah.
Would you sell now though compared to like after this week? Because I feel like he's due for a huge week against that defense.
I have him as a must start, so I'm in agreement with you there, Grant. I am 100% in agreement there. I just look at it's like everyone knows that Jeff Wilson's going to come to the picture in some facet. I just think this is the first week that people are going to like. I try to not sell before the shake. I guess I am trying to sell before the shake off happens, just because I look at it's like people know Mostert's going to do great this week. So I want to put that offer out there. So subconsciously, the person that I'm trying to make this trade with, they're sitting there in their brain just like, okay, like, shit, I could have had 30 fantasy points this week. But
One
instead I
appealing
missed out.
sell-off point as well, I think, is that even people that know Achon's going to come back and get back to that same level of performance, if there's someone in your league that's like 1-4 who just needs points for the next 4 weeks to string together some wins, if you sell him now versus in a week, that's an extra week that they could potentially have that production level, I guess.
Exactly. So, that's kind of what I was going to say is just like everyone knows that A-Chain is going to come back. So you might as well give people the value of like
you get a dog for 4 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, it's all about the timing that you guys are pointing out. And like this is just a great spot for Mostert. I don't mind holding him through this game, but I would be trying to move off of him just because like as we saw, like there's a lot of running backs coming in here and you already have the hedge for him, which is great as well. But this is a very, very solid team.
Value, rip it.
Like that's all we're trying to point out here is that like you can technically get something more sustainable in the long term. Like honestly, I think you could get like Saquon and a piece at this point, considering the Giants market as a whole. Because I don't think anyone wants to touch the Giants right now, especially ahead of this week. So allow them to get rid of some of their debts there. The only thing is you're technically weak on running back. I will say that, even though you have Aaron Jones and Jeff Wilson sitting in the wings, that is the one spot. So you can't really pivot towards your two flexes into a running back if needed. But outside of that, we'll go to the next team. We got Lamar Jackson, Amon St. Brown, Christian Kirk, who's still a sell high candidate for me. Saquon Barkley, Kyron Williams, Sam Laporta, Zay Flowers, with Watson sitting on the bench here. Sutton had an insane catch. And a lot of just handicap running backs, realistically.
Grant, you called that Cortland Sutton like game script last night. You were like, Sutton always just gets one catch that like makes him fantasy viable every week, and it's like
I'm in like a 14-team league and it's double flex, so it's really tough to find that last flex. And he's been like one of my options all year that I've started, and he'll be in the fourth quarter with like one catch for 14 yards. And then, like, in the fourth quarter, he'll catch, like, 5 passes and a touchdown, like that.
Jesus.
Yeah. Just completely bailed me out. I'm hoping it opens things up because Judy feels like he's as good as gone, so.
Yeah, especially with that clip of Steve Smith Sr. Circulating around at this point. Like,
why was he going so hard at it? Was kind of like, it was a little too much.
Steve Smith or Judy?
Smith.
Nah, I felt like it was Judy based off of because Smith, like, I love his podcast. That's one of the few people that like I really subscribe to listen to because like he just knows ball so well.
Yeah, he's smart dude.
And when you listen to him and like actually go into depth about things, he's just like That's his personality. Like he just talks shit. That's the
Yeah,
reality of
no,
the matter.
I don't think he's wrong, but if I was Jerry Judy and there's a dude just talking
I think it's
bad
because
about you
Jerry
on his
Judy went up to him
podcast, and
before
then
the
the dude
game.
comes up to you in person and is like, "Yo, I didn't mean that." Like, I would say this, I would like walk past him too. Like, I don't need to.
Oh, I don't expect Jerry Judy to be happy about it. I just wouldn't like re-poke the bear. And I
Yeah,
think
fair,
that's really
I
all
guess.
he did. And I think the thing that like is really scary if I was in Jerry Judy's position is the fact that this man does control like the wide receiver trade room. That is the reality of the matter, which is
Someone's gonna trade for him though. They're not that scared of.
yeah. But every coach asks for Steve Smith's advice now. It's actually kind of insane. That's why I fell in love with him this offseason, was because like every time, single time, like you listen to his podcast, he was basically telling you what was going to happen. Like right before the draft, he's like, "Yeah, I was on the phone with the guy for like he didn't say that this came out after it, but it was just like, yeah, I was on the phone with this GM for the Seahawks, and I think I talked him into picking up Devon Witherspoon." I'm sitting there like, okay, that's fair. And like every single like wide receiver coach or anything like that immediately calls them for who they're either trading for or picking up off of draft boards. But to go back to this team here and refocus this accordingly, I don't think Saquon plays this week. I just don't think it's smart for that team. I think they just take it off as a group. Um,
Tyrod Taylor season.
yeah. Christian Kirk's a sell high candidate for me. Kyron, I just want something more sustainable that I can trust in the long term. Um, but your running back depth is fine for what you have now. Zay, I'm anticipating a great week for him. Cortland Sutton's just been consistent, like you've pointed out, but it's not something that I'm losing my mind.
No, the travel schedule greatly favored Baltimore this week. They flew in on Monday, and I think the Titans flew in Wednesday overnight. So Baltimore's had a couple days there to adjust. It seems like whoever has been there earlier tends to be favored in those kind of games. So I would think that he should have a big game.
True. Yeah, I mean, to be blunt, this is a kind of a middle of the pack team because it's just like I look at some of these pieces and I'm like, I would be trying to trade these away to upgrade further because like you want to just be getting as close to the first round as you possibly can, more often than not, with your overall capital for like advancements and stuff, and not overthinking it too much. But I like the depth that they have on their bench here for the upside. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Zach Moss gets traded to another team, just because of how well he actually performed for the Colts with Jonathan Taylor's initial absence here.
They're kind of a nice duo.
Yeah, they are a nice duo, but I think with the amount of money they have JT, they're going to fully lean on him.
Do you think someone like Javante gets traded? It seems like nobody's
Nobody
off
wants
limits.
Javante, but I could actually see Zach Moss being a trade candidate for that team because they want somebody who can establish the run better. And I feel like Zach Moss has done a great job of that. Yeah, like I'd just be selling high on Christian Kirk on this team and potentially Kyron and like trying to bolster a stronger base there. I just don't think Christian Kirk's going to be as consistent as you want. I think he's a sell high kind of guy. And you can package him in a lot of ways with this team. It's a very strong team. It's preparing well for the future. It's just kind of in that middle spot where you could take some 2-for-1s and take another step forward if need be. Anything else on this specific team?
No, I agree.
Yeah, I think you're good. What do you think about what do you think between this week, like Zay Flowers and Zach Moss?
I love Zay Flowers this week. I'm not as into Zach Moss this week. I think it could be a JT
Yeah,
show.
matchup wise, Flowers got it, but Zach Moss like definitely has a higher like baseline, I would say.
I like the baseline for Zach Moss. I agree there, and it's like if Gardner Minshew starts cooking, then he's theoretically going to get more of the touches. My real question, and I just haven't done enough research into this, is like, how much is Zach Moss really going to be involved in this game plan? How much is JT really going to be involved?
Yeah.
And I imagine it's going to be incremental, would be my guesstimation, until JT is at a spot where they feel like fully like, yeah, he's running at what he was before we had all these stipulations. But like,
Yeah.
I guess the main note, it's strong team, just small things you can do to improve it further. Just because it doesn't look like a true league winner, because I don't think Christian Kirk and Kyren Williams, I don't think those two are going to be on a theoretical championship team. But I could easily be wrong. But moving forward, we got Justin Herbert, Ramondre Stevenson, Gus Edwards. What happened to this team? is kind of the big question mark. I don't believe that Amari's a sell now. Let's see here. But looking at
Oh,
this,
Jefferson. Well, that happened.
oh yeah, just okay. That makes a lot more sense now. Because I was sitting there, I'm like, how do you have like an insane core, but like such shit out other pieces? Anyways, this is a team I would sell Justin Jefferson on and say kind of screw it because you need running backs bad here.
Or just a flex.
Or just I'd still say running backs because I don't think Gus Edwards is going to get it done for you, and I'm willing to believe that like Ramondre it has a hope of becoming a thing, but like as Grant pointed out, like your flex is below even standard of what you'd want. Like
Yeah.
you got to trade Justin Jefferson in this case. It just doesn't seem like a great spot, unfortunately for you.
You also just need like in a position like this, need to be using your bench a little bit better. Like you should already have 2 bench spots filled with people that might have boom weeks this week. Like
Or
you
just
shouldn't have 2
overall upside
defenses.
that you can like chase after.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you think about Deontay Foreman this week, or Donta Foreman, however you would like to?
I mean, I think he's going to be the guy there this week, but
Yeah,
this week, emphasis
he's
on
the
this
only
week.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the only thing that I'm kind of like. Yeah, I'd just be trying to build up the running back side of things more than anything here. Like, and I don't mind tearing down with this specific team just because it's like your bench, as they point out, just really needs work. And nobody's in the whole buy CJ Stroud phase anymore. But moving on here, we got Lamar Jackson, David Montgomery, Zach Moss, Jalen Waddle, AJ Brown, Darren Waller, Puka, and you got Tua rocking on the bench. I don't mind selling Tua on this specific team or Lamar. Either one is more than fine. Devontae Smith on the
Would
bench.
you be starting Devontae Smith over Zach Moss? I think you should be.
I think you should be as well, but I think his issue here is that's his flex spot.
Yeah.
But he
he
could
has
move
Tony Pollard.
Tony P.
Yeah, I put Tony Pollard in the flex.
Pollard.
I put Devontae Smith and yeah, this team's great. You just have it rostered wrong. In theory, build up your running back too, but like you really don't need to do it because I think David Montgomery's a fine asset to have on your team. Like really
I assume
strong.
Puka's starting at flex too.
Yeah, I'm guessing that. Like in theory, you can upgrade Puka. Like this can easily evolve into a championship team. Yeah, really high marks to be blunt about this team.
I wonder how you got Jefferson and AJ and Pollard.
Must have been buying low.
I would tell this team to, if anyone's willing to take him, get out of Jettas right now. Like you have the depth to do it.
Yeah, like you don't have to worry about Justin Jefferson for this team. You can go ahead and get like a top end running back to insert into your flex over Zach Mott's realistically. Yeah.
But this team can also kind of take the hit on not having Jefferson for a few weeks. Like it doesn't really.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
If he never comes back, then you're screwed. But if assuming he comes back and it takes like 6 weeks, like you'll be able to stay afloat with the rest of the dudes. That I would honestly maybe hold on to him just because when it comes playoff time and stuff, you're gonna want to have him in there.
I thought we were all team Jefferson isn't coming back.
I'd lean on the side that he's not at this point. Like you want to have the.
You think there's like a
that he
above
does.
50% chance he doesn't play again this year?
I'd put the line at 50-50 right now just because I look at it on like imagine any other quarterback comes in that actually has like some youthful upside to him rather than a 37-year-old Kirk Cousins who is on the trade block. Like I think Kirk's great.
If they lose this week, he will not play again.
Yeah, I was about to say that. What's their record right now?
It's 1-4.
1-4.
Yeah, like it's just not a good spot for Justin Jefferson, and I think that's what we're all kind of looking at is like we might be wrong in the sense of like the best play is for him to actually play and kind of get that bag type deal. But yeah, it's just I'd rather just trade for the equity in this type of team, like you guys are saying.
Yeah, I saw someone in the Discord though that was asking whether they should trade Jefferson for like Adam Thielen, and that's just not worth. Like
if you're gonna sell Jefferson
coming back is not worth trading him for that.
Like our guy Brody here is asking Jefferson and Waller for Kenneth Walker and Hawk. I'm actually on the Kenneth Walker and Hawkinson side because it's like
I like that. Yeah,
Walker has a lot of upside, but like who is going to become peppered with targets? TJ Hawkinson. That is a positional advantage. I like that. Like if I were to be in a Mostert for Jefferson, I'd want to be on the Jefferson side, just because I think that there is more upside for Jefferson on the long side of the rainbow. But we shall see here. Moving forward, we have Kirko 2 Chains, Derrick Henry, Ramondre Stevenson, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Logan Thomas. No defense in there. Jalen Waddle at the flex. One out of defense. And I don't like starting T. Higgins this week. I think it's not a bad spot for him, but like I just don't like it. Just looking at the bench, I'm a little confused, honestly. This is a team that I would also do the whole sell for a more elite running back because Derrick Henry and Ramondre Stevenson, I don't believe that are like living in the promised land. I think your receiver room will end up being fine. But I'd trade Justin Jefferson and try to improve my running backs here.
Would you be doing like Amon Ra for Jefferson?
I'd want more than just Amon-Ra because it's like you can find many ways to argue about his specific injury, which is my only kind of like spot for him to be. I wouldn't say relevant, but I don't know. I just don't mind trading out Justin Jefferson on this team. It's got a lot of pieces that are realistically ascending, but like it's a lot of holding bags in this team. I'd be willing to trade out of some higher end pieces to just upgrade my team to something that's more statistically sustainable as time progresses here. I think the receivers are fine, just the running backs are the big hole for me. We got Josh Allen, Alvin Kamara, Raheem Mostert, Chris Olave, Devontae Smith. Like very, very strong team here. Just the running backs, I don't see all of them being fully sustainable. I'm willing to believe the Alvin Kamara and say I was wrong on that one. But you have a lot of good receivers sitting on your bench that you can trade for even more sustainable running backs down the line here. This is a very, very, very strong team. And I would be taking JT in a James Cook trade.
I would also be starting Michael Pittman over Olave this week.
I agree. Better matchup for him, especially with Minshew with his hands behind the helm. But outside of that, nothing too crazy. Herbert, B-Rob, Tony Pollard, Chris Olave, KJ Osborne, TJ Hawkinson, Adam Thielen. I mean, lots of sell high candidates on this team from what we're seeing, but there's also not a lot of depth on the bench for what you can use in those packages because Mark Cooper's not going to do anything right now with PJ Tucker. At least that's what we believe. And you've recovered well, but you can't really trade anything on your team here because everything is out on your bench. And none of those pieces are really enticing to people at this point in time. So this is just kind of a hold your line kind of spot. I don't really know what else to do with this team. But it's like played well in terms of responding back to the overall injuries that I probably suffered throughout this season.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you guys would say for this team here?
I'm adding in a team from Discord real quick.
Word.
I mean, I think you have all the right guys starting this week. I assume this is no PPR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have all the right guys in there. I think Osborne, especially if Jefferson doesn't play for like the remainder of the season or something, could have a crazy end of the year. B-Rob as a non-PPR guy is probably pretty good because all of his work is done on the ground anyway. So I'm
He's just game script dependent.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's about it for him. But moving on, we got T-Law, Waddle, Metcalf, Bijan, B-Rob, Logan Thomas, Alexander Madison. With Robert Woods chilling on the bench here, Georgie Kittle. I'd first off put Kittle in over Logan Thomas. Just from a floor standpoint, it's technically better. I can understand a more competitive game script. I'd go with Stafford over Herbert, Curdy. I don't know, just everything's basically injured or out in some variety on this guy's bench. That's really the issue here. You made the adjustments accordingly that are smart, but there's nothing you really can trade out of to improve this team. Like no one wants Alexander Madison right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, this looks like a pretty deep league, I would say.
Yeah. Fine team, just not really anything we can tell you to do to like trade up or down in any specific direction just yet. But it's a fine team that should be sustainable. But if you have the opportunity to package like Josh Downs with Alexander Madison for something greater, I'm not opposed to it. We just need something on your bench here to have some life. But for those asking how to get your team rated on here, you join the Discord. The link to that is the bio, and then you DM our guy Jackson here at Jamario Moon, and he'll help you out. Let's see here.
Would you guys trade Ayuk or not trade? Would you guys rather start Ayuk or KJ Osborne this week?
I like taking the chance on KJ Osborne just because you're basically shooting a 1-in-3 shot of either Ayuk. I don't count Christian McCaffrey, but Ayuk, Debo, or Kittle having it themselves a day. And if we're going from like deviation or whatever, it should be a Debo day. So I have questions about Ayuk's sustainability in what should be a dominated game.
There's I don't know if you knew, but there's an injured cornerback too in that game. Denzel Ward is going to be out.
Yeah, that game's going to be a slaughter then. I really don't want a lot of pieces in a slaughter because what'll happen is in the back half, they'll be like, all right, who's the random running back that we have replacing Elijah Mitchell? Let's throw him in there.
Yeah. Get a bunch of field goals.
Yeah. You have Goddard as your tight end. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I wouldn't change any of the starters because it's how it has to be. I think this is a very strong team. Not really any gaps in it, to be honest.
I think Denzel Ward's back for this game, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, really?
I don't think.
I thought he was. I thought it was. You don't think it matters?
No. And that's not to be rude. It's just like I just look at this
the
game
Browns
as a slaughter.
defense is very good.
It's very good. But when you have PJ Walker as your starting quarterback, I don't know how much of a tier up that is from DTR.
Yeah. I just think game script wise, then considering the quarterback play is not going to be great, there's not going to be a lot more running.
So
I could see Elijah Mitchell
it's all through the run game. Run game.
Yeah.
But like, I really wouldn't change much to this team. Nobody's going to want to buy Jahmyr Gibbs from you. Like, that's the only area you could technically improve is like your running backs to give you more sustainability. But you have Aaron Jones sitting on your current IR. So it looks like you're going to have to make some decisions here. So I wouldn't mind packaging together James Cook with a receiver of realistically your choice here to upgrade even further in the running back department. Just because you will have to make that decision regardless with Aaron Jones coming back. Like, not everybody's going to be able to stay on this team. But James Cook, I don't mind packaging with, like, I don't know. I can't really see what Jahmyr Gibbs, but I'd just be aiming for a higher tier running back, if anything. But overall, I like the team. We got Kirk O'Two-Chains, Bijan Robinson, Tony Pollard. Let's see here. Tyreek Hill, just another super team and a half. Yeah, like, congrats, you won your league. I don't know what else to say to this team. I'd be selling high on Kyron and trying to go get Austin Eckler with one of your plethora of options that you have sitting on your bench here.
Yeah, you probably have room to even like take advantage of some of the hype with one of your Vikings players right now and ship them out. I see that they got Madison, Addison, and Hawkinson and Kirk. Agreed. Vikings fan.
But yeah, like, this is your team. You're 2-3. I don't understand how you're 2-3 with this team. That makes zero sense. Outside, like,
yeah, what a 2-man league for you.
Yeah, tough go.
Yeah, like, it's just a very, very strong team. I don't know what else to say. You just must have gotten against the best teams. Hurts, Jacobs, Pollard, Olave, Puka, Mark Andrews, Kyron Williams. Past 3 weeks, your opponents have scored 180. Makes sense. They've had DJ Moore and so on. Let's see here. Yeah, similar advice that I gave to the last team here. Like, you're in a very good spot. Your receivers technically could use some work. I'd prefer to have David Montgomery in the long run over Kyron Williams, to be honest with you. So I'd be willing to upgrade to a higher level receiver from like Chris Olave / Puka here. That's really all I'd do. You have Adam Thielen chilling on your bench, Nico Collins, Amari Cooper. Like, the world's your oyster and how you want to conduct trades. I'm really not too concerned. Like, yeah. not really much to say about this one either.
Can't be having Montgomery on that bench, I don't think.
I don't think so either. Great matchup
I would
for
start him
Kyler.
this week.
Let's see here. Yeah.
Would you start him over Jacobs? I mean, all of your running backs are good, but
these
I think
are all like
Montgomery's
top
gonna be
end picks for this weekend. The only one that I have questions about is I do think Kyron's in a better position than people are assuming. But this is just a great team. Let's see here. We got Fields, Kamara, Bijan, DJ Moore, Puka, Logan Thomas, Stephon Diggs.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's just another crazy team. If anything, you need more sustainability in your receiving room, but that's really about it. And that's really the flex spot if we're talking about anything, because you're a sicko and want to put your freaking top receiver in your flex spot. That's really all you could do is technically improve that more, but overall this is a very, very strong team. You just need more sustainability out of DJ Moore realistically, which based off of his given matchups he has, should be able to deliver for you. But we'll see how Fields continues. But yeah, just crack team. If anything, I'd consider improving Alvin Kamara maybe, but he looks like he's here.
I love Kamara this year.
That might have been the last team. No, we got one, maybe two more.
Yeah, there's one more being added that you didn't see right there, Wells, and then that's it.
Perfect. We got, see here. We're on a bit of a shorter time frame today, but we'll be back on maybe late tomorrow, probably Monday or Tuesday, and doing another Rate Your Team session.
This is the greatest team I've ever seen. We have Josh Allen, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Josh Jacobs, Raheem Mostert, Kittle, Kupp, Pollard, ETN, Devontae Smith, Puka, Kenneth Walker. He's playing against himself and a one-man. He's trying to find the best team he could find.
Yeah, is this team in a league?
No, this team's cracked. Next.
Yeah.
Fields, Eckler, Kamara, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Evan Ingram, DeAndre Swift. Much more realistic. With Amon on the bench, not as realistic.
This is
cracked as well.
Yeah, this is also cracked. So that was our stream for today, guys. We appreciate every single one of you, and I don't even know how to verbalize this, but creating the most cracked teams that we've ever seen on some of these. You're in a 4-man, makes a lot more sense.
The other guy was in a 4-man?
I'm assuming.
He even fleeced a 4-man, though.
Yeah. Appreciate all the likes, the gifts, and the follows here, guys. Gonna allow Jackson and Grant to actually live their lives, and I'm gonna go touch grass for once. And
will we be doing this tomorrow?
We can do it tomorrow. I'm just gonna be driving back from Orlando, so it would have to be a little bit later, and I don't want to be.
Yeah, just when you wake up, let us know. I'm down for.
Sounds good. I'll text you guys in the morning then, and we'll figure out exactly how it is. Join the Discord if you guys haven't already. We may be doing another one of these tomorrow, and if not, we'll be doing it on Tuesday. That way, Jackson and Grant can watch the games along with myself, and we'll be back on then.
Make sure to DM me on the Discord at Jamario Moon. If you hit me up now, you'll be one of the first on the next one that we do. So,
I'll also be answering questions for the next 30 minutes or so, and I'll be on it Sunday morning as well. So feel free to throw some questions in the Discord, and someone will get back to you soon.
Yep. But I encourage you guys to join the Discord. Going to stop the recording now.